Welcome back there, everybody. Some of you may, or some of you may not, remember this thing. I had it here about a year ago, and I did a repower on it. This came off a conventional style rider, John Deere, 24 horsepower. Because the motor that was on it was trash. I think it had a broken oil control ring, because all it did was, it burned oil like a bitch, and it would fumigate the neighborhood. This thing is a, what is this thing? This thing is a, let's see, if I can get a little closer here. This thing's a 2020, March of 2020 actually. Move my finger out of the way because that looks stupid. After I put the motor on it, we started having problems with this is the plug for it. I've been digging with it a little bit already, and battery charger's been on it. Anyway, brake control module, which is essentially like it's kind of like if you were to equate it with a car, it'd be like a body control module almost, because it runs everything. And it did burn up a voltage regulator once, which I replaced that because obviously it didn't, I don't know, it was having an issue staying running. Normally speaking, if you pull the battery out of one of these, it'll run, and it really doesn't matter. But in this case, it was acting goofy and it wouldn't run. So I put a voltage regulator on, cured that problem. Those extra cables are up there because it has a pissant battery in it, but yeah, we're going to see what happens with that. I'm going to do some checks on this thing. And it's weird the way it acts, because on these models with the brake control that brake control module, when you kick the key on, you hear like a chirp chirp. I'm not doing that sound again, by the way. The brakes will actuate. You hear everything actuating. It doesn't do that now. It'll click some with the sensors, with the switches, because it has, I think, 5 switches in total. 2 being in the control arms, 1 being in the seat. They consider the ignition switch and PTO switch switches. Well, obviously they are, but you know what I'm saying. I did already clean it up. It was pretty gross when I dropped it up here. I put it here. It was running. I just the big issue was because it was the box has been bypassed, but it doesn't turn off with the key. So we're gonna some schematics over here. Let's see if we can't figure something out that'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what I mean? So again, my hand's in the way like a dumbass. So let's see what we got. All right, so we got our schematic here, right? So we're just gonna temporarily hang on this wire on here, and it's not, trust me, I'm not starting it. It'll just have power to run through the damn system, like so. So like right now, you should be here to fuel solenoid, which we don't. Why is that? Let me see right here if we got switch power. No, might be a shitty connection. I don't know. Oh, dumbass, because the thing's unplugged. Duh. I'll get it one of these days, guys. Maybe not today. Can't do nothing if it doesn't work. Stupid. Anyway, it's one of them days. Get on there, you piece of... They put this thing in a shitty spot. I guess it has to be here because it actuates the parking brake. But it is a pain in the ass to get lined back up in there. What the hell is going on? There we go. Better. Okay, now we should have something. Can you hear that? That's the fuel solenoid. See, that rod ain't touching the parking brake either. See, you hear it like that? But it's not. I don't know why that is either. It's weird. So like right now you get, so it thinks the parking brake's on. And we got nothing, no power, no key. But the fuel solenoid is on. Now, let me hook this thing back up because I had it unhooked, but it shouldn't. Well, if it's in park, it shouldn't. And this thing starts clicking by itself, which is weird. So we're just going to do something a little temporary here and bypass this seat switch with this little piece of wire from the backside. Because all this does is make the circuit. When you sit on the seat, it just connects, it just completes the circuit. No fuss, no muss. That also runs through the PTO switch. Good power on both. Groovy. So there's your PTO. So that works. Oh, now it wants to crank. Well, how about that? Let me see something here. Maybe we got something going on. I still don't hear the parking brake actuating though. Let me pull that one out. Nothing still. Interesting. Alright, well, let me see, because that can't be the ground. Why is that thing still clicking? That's so weird to me. It shouldn't be doing that. Everything else is hooked back up. Let me grab my meter instead of this test light and see if we got continuity. Let's see if it's still going to ground or not. By golly, I think we fingered her on out. Yeah, I'll show you. I had to add a couple switches. So now it's, I'll tell you what that does here in a second. Turn, bitch. Gotta cut it back off. That's how you gotta cut it off. So, what did I do? Well, the box is still there and it is still hooked up. Theoretically, I finally got that switch to work right too. Let me hear this again. Let's see if we can hear it. Hear it clicking. So that's those the brake control arms still, or sensors on them. Seat still has a sensor on it, and the fuel solenoid still hooked up. What did I do? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So that box is about half screwed up. It does sit there and click a couple times, but there's nothing that's going to bother anything, I don't think. Basically what was happening before was that I think the reason that it burned up the voltage regulator and kept killing the battery was the green wire, this green wire right here, right? This goes back to that box. When it gets a signal from the key switch to run, that sends ground to the solenoid, which energizes the solenoid. Doesn't start it, it just energizes it. Well, this ground was run to something that was ground all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like a chassis ground. So essentially the solenoid was energized all the time. So what I did was I went into the green wire back here. It's and I'll show you on the diagram. I'll put it up here in a second. So you go from the green wire, or you could boot from this green wire if you really wanted to. It doesn't really matter. It's the same wire. You can do it from here if you want. I did it back here at the plug. No big deal. Which is back. I don't know if you can see it or not. That plug down there. So I ran that. It runs along in here. The wire's still kind of janky. Don't worry about it. I got to fix it later. Goes to one side of this switch here. The other side of the switch goes to ground side of the battery. So when you flick it on, that energizes that battery. You can see this red line here, that's on battery positive. So all it needs is a ground. The blue wire is your start signal line from the key switch. Well, really, it comes from the key switch and goes to the box too. But anyway, we ain't worried about that shit. Now the cutoff, and now this mower may be different from others. This is what worked for me because remember I repowered this thing, so it's a little bit different. Turn that off. Where are they? Shit. These two wires right here, right? These are your, well, what I thought both of them were the magneto kill wires. They are not. One is a ground and one goes to both mags. So I just tied them. I had to extend them obviously, and they go up to this momentary switch to shut it off, kind of like an old weed eater or something. And it works. It works just fine, and it's charging 14 volts. and I don't think we have any power draws, and I think we're golden. Like I said, this motor, I don't even know what the hell this motor even is. I don't remember. I had John Deere ship written all over, but it's obviously not a John Deere because John Deere don't make anything like this. Oh, it's a brakes. I think that's an Intec. It was a 24 horsepower. I knew that much. Like I said, the fuel solenoid still works and all that. But this thing had the Toro 22 or 24 horsepower twin on it. Essentially the same thing. I had to use, what did I use? I had to change, I did use the stock exhaust off the other motor. It took a little bit of finagling, but it went on there. Of course, the intake and all that's just way different, so you get, it's just different. So I don't know if the mag kill wires are the same on the Toro motor. I don't remember. I don't remember. On the schematic, let's see. I'll tell you what it looks like right now, because I'm a dumbass and I could have just told you what it was on the schematic. The mag kill wires is a one. Well, it comes off with one wire. And like I said, I'm going to bring this up. Here we go. Get under there. So, yeah, here's your two. See, these are tied into one. So that's how it was from the factory, tied into one, just like this one is, I guess. I don't know why it had two come back there though. It's weird. Maybe it's grounded somewhere up here. I don't know. But I don't know why both would have came out of the engine. I don't know. All I can tell you is it turns the damn thing off. So going back to what we were talking about. So here's your brake control module right here. Your green is your run, which is number 8 or so. I'm gonna pull it up on the computer so you really see it, because you can't. I know y'all can see this, but it goes to your solenoid, which is right here. Yeah, and I'll show all this shit to you on the computer and try to explain a little bit better. It'll be much easier that way, because otherwise you'll be like, what the fuck is he doing? Are you retarded or something? Are you stupid or something? But anyway, that seemed to fix this problem now. I will say that it doesn't have a parking brake. I mean, it takes a lot to push this thing because it's, hydrostatic. But I just want people to be aware that it does not have a parking brake. Just because these rods are out like that doesn't mean jack diddly poop. It has no parking brake. And it didn't have a parking brake anyway, because the box has been bad. But yeah, and this is what model this thing was. It was a 75760 is the model number of this Toro, with this big iron forged monster penis deck. But yeah, I had to throw it better because it's all I had. So it's kind of running 2 batteries at the moment, but it's okay. It is what it is. Other than that, that's about it. I think it's going to be it for this short episode today, because yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, and I did have footage when I brought it here and I cleaned it up, but it was I don't know what the hell was going on. Either the GoPro was acting funny, or my computer was acting goofy, or somebody was acting goofy. Maybe I was acting goofy. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. But yeah, other than that, that's all she wrote. So we'll switch over here in just a second, and I'll put the schematics up on the screen, and we'll get into a little better detail of this whole wire deal. And this is a common problem from what I understand and what I've read. That brake control module is a piece of poo. Alright, so that bottom row of wires right there on the very bottom, you see I'm pointing at it, that is the brake control module. Okay. Obviously your key switch is up top there, and then you have your PTO switch and your system fuses and your charge fuse and blah 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 blah. Now, the run wire, so you cut the key on, right? Sends power to this box, and when you click them, it's supposed to send through green, which is GN, it'll send a run signal to the start solenoid, right? Right now, it's in this picture, it's a normally off position. The blue wire is the start signal wire. Now, the way this box was, what it was doing was, it was not sending ground to the solenoid That way it couldn't, you had no, it would turn the fuel solenoid on because it runs out of that box as well. You see right there, fuel, which is number, I think, was it 9? Um, yeah, all that stuff worked. Everything except for the parking brake works through this thing. Anyway, so all I did was I spliced into the green, which was on the run wire, number 8 on this schematic, tied into it. And like I said, you can tie into it at the solenoid if you want to, but you have to make that ground able to brake. If you leave it on all the time, it's going to keep that solenoid energized all the time. It's going to kill the battery and probably burn up the voltage regulator like they did on this one because the solenoid was on all the time. And as you can see, the battery plus line that ties to it goes back into the regulator. So you don't want that. But no big deal. Like I said, you just get a on-off switch. You just break the contact. You're fine. No problem. So that takes care of all that. And then it'll fire up and run, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you turn the switch back off when you got the key off. Now, I had to cut the lines for the mag kill because this box would kill it. It wouldn't shut it off. So this is on the particular motor that's on it. On this schematic is for the Toro motor. You have your mag kill, which is number 2. If you follow it out of the coils, out of the ignition, what they call it, ignition modules, but the coils. You follow that down to the mag kill wire, which is white when it comes to the plug. It's black on the other side of this plug. It's black on the engine side, white on the harness side. Just run that up to a momentary switch. Put one side on there, put the other side to ground, and there you go. All you're doing is grounding the coils out to shut it off, which is how it's supposed to be anyway. And that's basically it, y'all. I mean, you can see how it is on the schematic. It's not rocket science. It's not that big a deal. So, anywho, so yeah, it still has some safety features, but not much, and no parking brake. Stress that enough. No parking brake. I can't do nothing about that unless you just buy another box, which you can get another box, but they're pricey. So it's up to you. Anyway, hope you found that informative. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I would appreciate it very much. We're still trying to build and keep projects going. So yeah, until next time, y'all, stay true to yourself. See you later. Goodbye.